Okay, so let's start there. The Wall Street Journal editorial board, after this report this week, says New Jersey's screw-up is another reminder that illegal voting isn't a myth, and vigilance is important. I know in the Commonwealth, because I voted there many times, Virginia has voter ID. Is that something we should be discussing for everyone?
You know, and New Jersey has voter ID as well, Shannon, and this was a very unfortunate glitch. Importantly, it wasn't that individuals were trying to vote illegally. There was a computer glitch that when they registered for driver's licenses and said they were non-citizens, the glitch got them mistakenly classified as citizens and registered them to vote. And about 400 did vote in the 4 million New Jersey residents who voted in 2024. I think the right answer here is voter ID laws passed at the state level.
Wait, it never happens. It happened a little bit, and now what we need to do is have voter ID at the state level. Give these people a couple weeks. By the time we get to September, maybe they'll be talking about the Save America Act. We literally went from it never happens to it's a right-wing conspiracy. It never happens. And it only happens a little bit. And maybe we need state ID at the state level. Seriously? These people are completely lost.
This is not something that was ever publicly announced, right? So the general public doesn't even know about this. But like George Soros's organization, for instance, they put out a pledge to only fund organizations in the Democratic Party that were led by people of color for 5 years.
So he had his own little set-aside program. I'm going to use my billions to basically fund black activists and organizers who've already been in existence for 5 years. I don't know. That sounds kind of racy to me.
Which is, I mean, I saw personally people that were turned down for jobs because, the organization realized they needed to have like the right identity leading their organization, or they could be denied funding. And it had a real systemic effect. I myself, was pressured at times. There was a lot of social and peer pressure to not hire white men.
This is the same. By the way, she's a former Democratic operative who used to help raise money for Democrats. And we're finding out that, again, the same thing they accuse the Republicans of is what they do. They're the ones who are racist. The reason why they can recognize racism because they're the ones being racist. Oh, no, don't hire any white people. We only can hire black people. And by the way, George is giving us the money for all the black peoples.
Especially, I feel very bad about this, but, this book is called Confessions of a Democratic Operative, so I have to confess my own sins too, right? I was in positions of hiring, and when I would get resumes, the very first thing I did is Google their names on the internet to see what their race was, to see if they were a man, and if they were...
Hey, John Smith wants a job. Oh, let's see what John Smith is. Oh, I see his picture. He's a white guy. Gone. Done. That's who the Democrat, that's how they were picking. No wonder their party is in a complete poop hole.
I didn't set up interviews with them. And this happened all throughout the Democratic Party. There was a systemic push in the party to discriminate against white people. And it came down on high from the very highest levels of the party.
There's so much coming out right now. The media can't tamp it down. There's just an overwhelming amount of stuff coming out about the Democrats. And we only need to look at the people who are at the, basically the head of it right now. The AOCs, the Bernies. Now you got the Socialists, and you got Mandami. And you realize this is a scam. These people were never picked because of their ability. And then you look at what happened in Maine, and they picked the Nazi, and they basically, after he got caught doing all kinds of stuff, then they put somebody else in who did all kinds of stuff, and the people never got to vote, even though it's a white guy.
You were an early supporter in Maine of Graham Plattner. You helped him rise. Do you regret not acting earlier to call for him to drop out, given the warning signs? Would that have given you a leg up here with Jackson?
No, I don't think so. When we heard the serious allegations made against them, I wanted to get on the phone. I wanted to talk to him. I did.
Stop, Bernie, you lying piece of crap. When we heard, you're telling me in a major election, you've been around since, I don't know, you probably played high school, went to high school with Jesus. You've been out there all this time. You understand how campaigns run. You understand how campaigns get vetted. You understand you turn over every rock. And now you're pretending as though I didn't know till it came out. There's only two explanations. You're lying or you're incompetent. And unfortunately, it could be either one.
I asked, along with virtually all his supporters, that he should get out of the race, and he did.
You are confident that with your endorsements, these other candidates have been fully vetted?
Well, look, I think...
Wrong answer. I hate Margaret Brennan. I don't like how she treats Republicans, but she just threw Bernie a softball, and he couldn't answer it. So you feel these other guy he's fully vetted. That means there's going to be stuff coming out about this guy. You can mark it down, 7 p.m., July 26th. This new guy that they put in Maine, there's going to be stuff coming out. He didn't have a definitive yes. It'll be very simple. Oh, yeah, we vetted him. He's good. He's good to go. Huh?
There were hundreds of candidates. I don't know who has been, quote unquote, fully vetted.
Well, you just mentioned two of them.
All I know is the candidates. Well, all I know is, Margaret, that the candidates that we are supporting are standing up for the working class of this country.
Wait a minute. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, have you vetted this new guy? Hey, Margaret, all I know is that he's trying to stand up for communism or something. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, Bernie, have you vetted the guy? So right now, based on that answer and how fidgety he got, you can count there's going to be some more dirt coming out about this guy, undoubtedly. How could he have gone on CBS News? Because even if there wasn't, now there's got to be people digging. How could you come on CBS News and not be able to answer that question and knock it out the park? Have you vetted him? Oh, yeah, we've gone inside and out. We stuck a microscope under his butt. We know everything. We know he does not bleed out of his butt once a month. Oh, no, he's a real man. Even Liz Warren said he's my kind of man, just like she said about the other guy. And Bernie's eyes were like, oh, I don't know. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
I think one of the things that some of those who are winning their primaries and will likely be in office want to know is if you are going to agree to hold votes on abolishing ICE, opening borders, things of that nature. Will you?
Simple question. Your compatriots or comrades there that are getting elected nowadays, they want to do all this stuff. And you're the speaker. Not speaker, but you're the minority leader. You going to do it? Good question, Dana.
Well, I've spoken to several of the incoming members of Congress across the ideological spectrum. Not a single person has raised those issues.
What are you talking about? Not a single person has raised those issues. That's all they talk about. I don't understand, I don't know if you guys watch it, but I watch the political shows. It's almost as if the establishment Democrats are completely stuck in quicksand or something, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. That was easy. Are you going to bring these up for a vote? Yeah or no? Yes or no? No, we're not going to get rid of the Senate. We're not going to do that. We're not going to stack the Supreme. No, we're not going to do any of that. I don't know nothing about it. Seriously? Seriously?
So we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things
You're about to know about it.
Are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
The problem we're having is we can joke about it, but you can never let these people, you can never take these people and say they didn't tell you. They look you right in the camera. Yep, we're going to get rid of the presidency. We're going to get rid of the Senate. Yeah, what else you got? Yeah, we're getting rid of all this stuff. They're not even trying to fool you. You got to give a little credit for their complete honesty and lack of decorum. We don't give an F if you know this is what we're going to do. So not a single one of you can ever say, I didn't know this was going to happen. They're telling you the enemy is getting armed outside and inside the gates, and they're telling you straight up, we're going to destroy your country. Deal with it.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
That means no more America. That's at that point, I could have, Shannon, let's cut the, you don't have to say that. Is your objective to destroy America? I mean, because that's what you're saying. No president, no borders, no Supreme Court, no Senate. Yeah, that's what you're telling us, right? You're saying, screw America. And it seems like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer have no idea what to do. Oh my gosh, they're winning. What do we do with these people? Well, first and foremost, if you stand for America, it should be an easy decision. We know that Bernie already sold out. We already know Bernie waved the white flag and has taken his comrade dollars. Are there no, other than Fetterman, are there no Democrats who are willing to stand up in front of these people? Because if you don't stand up in front of them, then you're complicit in what they do. This big tent stuff, you can shove that.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay,
So we're going to open the border. We're going to eliminate funding for the military. We're going to do away with the judges, the Supreme Court. And we're going to just wide open the prisons. Let everybody out. There's no laws that you can't break. What? This is like cuckoo. And you get people like Hakeem Jeffries like, no, you have to know. We all know. I play it so you guys can know. There's no differentiation. They are not trying to obfuscate. They're telling you straight up, laughing in your face, Shannon. And even Shannon's like, you got to be kidding me, right? No.
No prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where we are, 2026, and we are on the precipice of people trying to take over our country. And we got people like we saw at the White House correspondents meeting mad because President Trump was poking at Caitlin Collins. How does that not piss you off, Caitlin? How does that not piss you off, Wolf Blitzer or Jake Tapper? How does this not just make you go, no way? We make way too much money at CNN for you people to be talking this crap, even if we don't like Trump. How can, like some of the influencers you see out there, oh, it looks bad for Trump. Oh, he's never going to win. Midterms are done. Why aren't you focusing on these people? Candace, Alex. It blows my mind when I see what they're talking about. I'm like, wait a second. There's enemies standing out in front of the house. There are people who want to destroy this country, and you're talking crap that has nothing to do with saving America. I understand Mike Lindell, he said some stuff and stupidly, and he just pretty much trashed his campaign. But why? Look around and see how many of the people who trash Trump, who say they're on the right, don't talk about these people. It's going to drive you crazy when you start saying, hey, listen, our enemy isn't Trump. Our enemy is these people who have stated openly, this is what they want to do. And don't get me started on some of these people. SV sends me links to some of these guys and what they say, and I'm like, oh, it's so obvious. It's so obvious what's going on.
The Department of Homeland Security has found tens of thousands of registered non-citizens in the United States. Pursuant to Section 904 of the Congressional Budget Act of 1974, I move to waive all provisions of the applicable budget resolutions. I move to waive all applicable sections of the Act and all applicable budget resolutions for purposes of the pending amendment, and I ask for the yeas and nays.
Is there sufficient?
The only one thus far, Mike Lee, who is standing up and saying, you're not going on recess. That ain't going to happen. We got to make sure we get the Save America Act done, and we're not leaving till we get it done. And you got all the here-tos and where-tos and poop-ahs and doing everything they do instead of getting it done. I put those clips back to back because you have just seen and have been seeing these socialists who are making no bones about what they're going to do. They understand it's a hard row. They understand it's going to be a mountain that they have to climb and fight. But we're going to do away with the president. We're going to do away with the Senate. We're going to open the jails. We're going to do everything. We're going to take your money. We're going to take your property. They're telling you. And the people we've elected, I don't think we should stop the filibuster because, what if they use it next day? What do you mean, what if? They've already told you, we're going to do away with the Supreme Court. They don't need to filibuster. They're just going to just get rid of it. And our people, the people we consider our side, are sitting there with their thumbs up their butt, acting like we got some sort of decorum and process we need to worry about. There is no process. There is no take the bigger, higher road and all this stuff. Your enemy is seated. You can look inside the room and say, oh, there's Rashida Tlaib, and there's Ilhan Omar, and there's AOC, and there's Bernie, and now we got this other people in the squad, what's your name, PayPal, all these, they're sitting right there. And that's what gets me mad, because any single one of you, if you knew somebody was getting ready to kick in your front door, you wouldn't sit around and go, well, what do you think? You think we might be okay? I don't want to open the door and shoot them because, maybe they just go away. Kick, the door's buckling. Well, honey, what do you think we should do? I don't know. Should we call the police? No, don't want to cause a ruckus right now. We can't call the cops. The sirens would happen. People, and by the way, we don't want to put those people in jail. Kick, until all of a sudden, poof, the doors fly open and they're doing bad things to your wife and children and taking your stuff because you had the opportunity to act. Every single one of you had the opportunity to get ready. I've made the analogy many times thus far about hurricanes as we're getting towards the middle of hurricane season down here. SV the other day sent me a link. He goes, hey, man, there's Tropical Storm Bertha. And I looked at it and went, no, that one's good. We learned to look at things and go, no, I'm good with that one. That ain't going to worry about that one. Because we can recognize when there's a threat. There are certain signals that people in South Florida look for us to determine whether or not a storm is a threat. As it comes off of the Cape Verde and it starts coming across and they start doing all those spaghetti models, we know how to look. We recognize the threat. We know when we got to board up and get the hell out. Our Republicans aren't recognizing that. Well, we don't want to do it because next time they get in power, they're going to do it to us. So if you know that, nuke them.
About this indoctrination underway in schools is quite concerning. You also have evidence that there are certain schools in certain counties that are encouraging transitions for kids and hiding it from the parents. You are right now doing investigations in at least 3 states. Tell me what you're doing and what you have learned.
Well, thank you so much, Maria. And this is a travesty that parents are not considered first and foremost in charge of their children. They don't belong to the government. They belong to their children. So in Anne Arundel, Maryland, we found that transgender activities were in place, and that parents not only were not informed, but it was being hidden from parents. So I can tell you that our investigation, we've turned it over to DOJ. They have likelihood of losing federal funding or a lawsuit or both. Also in Ann Arbor, Michigan, same thing. We're looking at information being withheld from parents. And from Burlington District in Vermont, where parents had opted out of surveys that were being given to their children that were asking very specific sexual questions. This was happening in some of the other districts too. And so even when parents opt out and see these surveys with sexually explicit questions, drug use, alcohol use for 7th graders.
I don't think it needs to be said any clearer than it's been said many a times. If you're not watching everything about your children, you're gonna regret it. It's not an if. They have an agenda. They want to turn, Susie into Johnny, or vice versa, Johnny into Susie. And you would think at this point they understand there's a microscope, and they're still willing to do it, still willing to try, knowing that the Trump administration is staring at them. Don't do it. We're going to revoke your funding. And their focus on converting these kids is so strong they can't withdraw. They have to take the children. They have to go after these kids. It's a sickness. It's a disease. It's a crime. And it's just keep happening.
This is really outrageous, and to hide it from parents and actually create separate file folders so that when parents ask to see their children's records, that is being kept from them, and it's being done on purpose. And so we're just not going to stand for it. Parents have every right to determine what their children's education's exposure is going to be, and we're going to enforce it. You can't give a child a Tylenol at school without parental permission, mostly in writing. But yet you could go through transgender, transitioning, psychology, and parents not know about it. We're just going to stop it. We're not going to stand for it.
And you've got investigations in Maryland, Michigan, and Minnesota right now.
I can't even imagine that this is happening in our school system. And then again, if I see Randy Weingarten, I realize how it's happening in our school system. The problem is we don't have enough parents and grandparents watching and having taught the kids and say, hey, make sure you let me know if something, are you kidding me? You're telling me you can take my son to the doctor and do a chop, and I don't even have the right to know? That's when I'm going to jail.
Season, socialists winning Democratic primaries, candidates from the far left. And look at this here. Among Democrats, this is that Fox poll, a majority have a favorable view of socialism. Step outside the Democratic Party.
All right. Watch the numbers change here. Because I can't believe Steve Kornacki actually did this on Meet the Press with Christian Welker standing right there. I cannot believe that he does something here that most of the honest pollsters out there won't do. They won't discuss this in terms of breaking it down. So the view of socialism, Democrats, it's 52%. They have made inroads in the Democrat Party, right? Okay, let's consider the Republicans and independents.
It's a totally different world.
It's a losing argument. If 77% of independents is like, we want nothing to do with socialism, they can't win. Now, if he knows that, he's on MSNBC and Kristen Welker's there from Meet the Press, she has to realize, and they have to know at this point, what are we doing here? What in the hell are we doing? It is basically a fait accompli. There's no way they can win in November. Stop letting people tell you, oh, they might win. No, they can't. It's all rigged. The polls are rigged. Everything. You cannot get to that number. You can't even make that up. 77 on a liberal network? It's 60 points the other way. at the liberal network, there's no way. There is no way that they can embrace socialism and expect to win. But yet that's exactly what they're doing. You can just take a snapshot with your phone. I'll get off camera so you guys can see it yourself. And you can take a picture and wait a minute. What are people trying to tell me we're in trouble? How are people trying to tell me that we are in trouble in November when the socialists are running the Democrat Party and 77% of independents are saying, we want nothing to do with this? You don't even have to be that good in math. We're not talking we're talking to almost everybody. 77, forget the Republicans. 77% of independents are like, nope, nope, don't want none of this. So tell me how all the people that you see, that some of you may follow, are even intimating that we're in trouble in November. And I'm not saying don't be ready. I'm not saying don't get out there and vote. I'm saying, what are these people talking about? I can't.
Socialism, deeply unpopular there. So is that a vulnerability for Democrats that would keep them from capitalizing on Trump's obvious weaknesses here? Look more specifically at the two chambers here. Senate side, this, if you're a Democrat, this is the particularly tough one. They need a net gain of 4 seats to get control of the Senate. Take a look at the map here. How would they get 4? 4 is their target number. There's first thing, they can't lose ground. Georgia, New Hampshire, Michigan, Democratic seats, big primary coming up in Michigan in a few weeks there. They could have general election implications. Democrats have to win those.
And understand, the guy they're pushing in Michigan, socialist. Baduba, whatever his name is. Socialist. They're trying to push it in Michigan when they know 77% of independents don't want nothing to do with it. So they may win the Democrat nomination, but they're going to get spanked in November.
To not lose ground. Then the 2 Republican seats they think they have the best shot at would be Susan Collins in Maine. Democrats have a new candidate there now. And in North Carolina, where Democrats have nominated the former governor.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I'm looking at the data. The
new annual homeless audit for Los Angeles shows the number of people experiencing homelessness ticked up 3.4%. That puts the city's homeless population now at just over 45,000 people.
How did Spencer Pratt lose this? How did Spencer? Well, obviously we know he was cheated. See, when you can vote for 30 days and bring all the votes in you need, that's what you get. You get a rise in homelessness.
Both LAHSA and Mayor Karen Bass are blaming a number of factors, including the high cost of living and cuts in federal funding. The mayor was not at the news conference yet.
You notice that? That's another prevailing theme. Why is it happening? Oh, cutting federal funding. So again, you're talking about, here we go, another area of the country that is failing because they're not getting your money. The fact of what USAID was doing and all the different places where they were stealing money, now the excuse keeps coming out. Oh, it's a cut in federal funding. So you were using my money, your money, to fund all this crap.
Yesterday unveiling these new numbers, but posted a video on social media. Her opponent in the mayoral race, City Councilwoman Nithya Raman, says Mayor Bass isn't doing enough.
My goal is to end street homelessness, to get people housed, to get them cared for, to address whatever led to them being unhoused, and to move them from interim housing.
What? How'd they get there? Well, is it drugs? Is it crime? Is it illegalism? That's another disease I think we can say.
Into permanent housing.
This is a moral outrage, and it is a failure. The approach to homelessness that Mayor Bass has led and defended has brought us here.
The LAist is reporting the audit comes right after LAHSA got its funding of nearly $500 million approved. We're working to confirm this on our own.
Excuse my language, but what a shitstorm the Democrats are. And if, as you watch these things and hear them, you realize at this point, the only way these people are solvent, can even stand up, is because they've been taking our money. They've hidden it. They've been able to prop everything up because of how much money the Biden and Kamala administration were feeding to all these cities. And now we're seeing it just completely collapse. And California has turned into an island nation at this point. And I hope Steve Hilton can win. I hope they're watching everything. But with that 30-day thing that they got going on, I don't have much hope. Crazy. But, you know, I just don't see how things can be as dire as some of the people talking are making out to be.